Today I'm going to show you how to test your AC coil using 3 simple methods. Let's get started. The coil's in here. These are the wires. They connect to the AC compressor, the pigtail. Here we have a 2005 Dodge Dakota. We're going to be testing the coil for the AC clutch. Okay, it's currently not turning on, it's not clicking on. I checked the relay already, that's fine, but now we're going to check if there's power coming into the wires. Okay, I'm going to be using this multimeter, and I'm going to insert one into the wire here, probing it. I'm going to take the other one and do the same thing. So right now I'm connected to the AC compressor clutch wires. Alright, so I'm going to turn it on. We're going to make sure the AC is turned on and this is switched on right there. And that should give us a signal for the coil outside. So now that we have determined that there is a voltage coming into the coil, into right here, what I'm going to do is I am going to unplug it, okay? And I'm going to turn this into ohms. But I'm just going to put it in that setting where if the 2 wires touch, there is a sound. And you can see right here, there is no sound. So that tells me that the coil for this clutch, it's broken, it's done. Alright, so I'm going to connect it straight to the pigtail with these alligator clips. There's one side, and there's the other side. And I am still getting nothing here. I'm going to move the wire around to see if it could be the wire, but it looks to be that it's inside the coil. This is a bad coil for the clutch. And then I'm going to verify that the multimeter is working properly by connecting both of the ends. Okay, for this next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add power straight to this pigtail. And you would do this to test if the coil is good if there was no power coming to this right here. If there was no negative and positive coming in, you could simply with a power probe or somehow direct electricity into it. You connect one to one side and you use the other end to connect it like that, and then you could trigger power. But since this coil is bad, it doesn't work. It's a bad coil. So if you don't have a multimeter or a power probe, you could simply use some alligator clips and jumper cables, and you could activate it with the battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug one into one side of the coil and then plug it in to the other side of the coil. Okay, I'm going to go to the battery. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the positive side. It doesn't matter which side you do first. And then with the other wire, I'm going to activate it close to circuit with the negative. And there's no clicking, there's nothing. This coil is bad. If it was good, you would hear it click and it would go in and out as I activate it with the power and ground. Here we're using the multimeter. And we're going to do the same test that we were doing outside. You're going to make sure you have it in ohms. You select this little part right here that you get a little audible sound when they both connect. Just like that. Okay. On this compressor, it's a little bit different than the one outside. This compressor, there's only one wire to the coil. This wire right here is your positive wire, and your case on the compressor itself, it's the ground. So right now I'm going to use one of these alligator clips. I'm going to connect to this pigtail. So now that I have that wire connected, it doesn't matter which one you hook it up to. It doesn't matter whether you hook it up to the positive side or the negative side. You're going to pick one. Okay. We have it in ohms. Okay. If you connect both of them together, you get an audible sound. Okay. That means that there's a connection from here to here. Okay. So now what we're going to check is if there's a connection from this wire through the coil into the case, because the case is the ground on this compressor. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm just simply going to touch the case. And you can see the multimeter is moving as well, and you could touch anywhere in this case. You could touch it back here, right here, the whole case. It's the ground. Everything is ground on this. Alright, so that's one way in how to test it. The other way, so I'm going to be using this battery right here, 12 volt battery, and I'm going to be hooking up the power probe to it. Okay? And you will hook up your terminals. You got the positive side and you got the negative side. It should light up. Then you could click this right here to check the battery's voltage. We got 12.6. Okay, so we know that battery's good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this end right here to the power probe, and this part right here, this is going to be the ground to the case. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter where you connect it. And now I'm going to trigger on power. And you can see when I trigger the power on, this part in the clutch is activating. And let me zoom in. You can see it. I trigger it on and it moves in. That's showing me that the clutch is working. The coil is engaging. It's just an electromagnet, and it's pulling in the metal plate. This is a good clutch. This is a good coil. See? Power on, clutch on. Okay? That's what it should look like. That's what it should look like. Power on. So if you don't have a power probe, what you're going to do is alligator clip. You're going to clip it on. And going to use the two terminals up here to trigger the coil. And you'll have the same effect. You're going to pulse it on and off. I'm going to zoom in on the compressor so you can see it pulsing the same way. It's doing the same thing.